The National Cannabis Industry Association's Cannavest conference is underway right now in Boston, Mass, where I'm from. Yahoo Finance's Emily McCormick is here on the couches with the latest. Hi, Emily.
Hi there.
Welcome to the couches.
Not in Boston.
Now, we are streaming some of this conference on Yahoo Finance. We should say that. People can find the stream via our homepage. But tell us in general, what are we seeing out of the conference? What are we expecting? Of course, Miles has a cynical view even about the existence of a cannabis investing conference.
Yeah, well, I think one of the big takeaways from the conference this morning was just about the idea of branded content really being the direction that the cannabis industry, or branded products, branded sales being the growth driver for the industry. So, we have so many different companies right now in Canada, really hundreds, and really, where are we going to see the Budweiser of the cannabis industry appear? We're going to see that in the next couple of years, and it's really going to be essential that we have, premium products that are driving profit margins and driving this decoupling of the price of the underlying commodity and the flower itself with the finished goods, so that
right. I mean, that's kind of the thing that I feel like when you hear people say, I want to be in the cannabis industry, I want to invest, you see the stocks going up a lot, right?
Right.
But what I don't feel like gets discussed about enough, but maybe is becoming more part of the conversation, is the fact that when there is mass adoption of cannabis, the value of all the cannabis that currently exists goes down because there's more available cannabis, right?
Yeah,
Anyone
exactly.
can get it all the time. So how are companies kind of dealing with that? And then also,
That's why brand matters.
well, right, and then how are they dealing with the legality of it, right? I mean, it is not legal on a federal level here in the U.S., but it pretty much seems like everyone's going ahead with it anyway.
Can't get a business bank account.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's one of the big issues is that, you can't really do banking. Like, even with the partial government shutdown, there were issues about, how are these cannabis companies going to deliver their taxes to the IRS? So that's, of course, one of the issues that's still being worked out. But to your point about the branded content, look at something like a Charlotte's Web for CBD. It's really about that recognition and really about, driving the profit margins and driving the differentiation between these companies.
Not to be confused with Charlotte's Web and the story of Wilbur the pig and our good friends that we grew up reading about.
We had a guest on the final round. We're talking about normal stock stuff right at the end. He's like, I got a pick for you, Charlotte's Web. And I'm
Oh
like,
my God, yeah.
"Oh, Charlotte's
I
Web."
love that book. Yes, I also loved Curious George.
But it just feels like everyone and their mother has like a hot stock tip in the cannabis space,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, well, but I mean, it's not only about the flower and the plant-touching companies. You can also, invest in something like a Kush Goods or something that is about the packaging or something that doesn't necessarily
You're such an expert
have
now.
Kush Goods.
No, but yeah, something that doesn't necessarily have the same risk.
Right. Emily, our editor-in-chief, Andy Serwer, is at this conference, just finished a panel. I understand you watched that. Anything interesting come out of that panel specifically?
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely want to pull up something that was Roy Bingham said about the size of the cannabis industry in the next couple of years. And I think we have a clip on that.
Now, looking forward, we see tremendous growth continuing. Maybe it's slowing down slightly when we get to 2021, 2022, but we're looking at a $32 billion industry by 2022, having grown at 26% compound over those 4 years. I can't think of a meaningful sized industry in which one has the confidence about that sort of growth rate. In fact, I can't really remember one except when we go back to the early days of the internet, for example.
And how'd that work out in the years after that internet explosion?
Well, you have, your Amazons, you have your pet.com, so I think it's going to be
Only the good
thing.
survive. Yeah.
There you go. Yep. And actually, we had the CEO of the company that won the pot ticker on one of our live shows, and he was saying, well, it's a great brand. It's going to help us.
Right.
The kids who don't know anything about the stock market, but they use Robinhood, they say, oh, pot, it's a good stock.
Yeah, great investment thesis. I have idiots investing in my company. That's the way you want to build capital.
Right. All right. Emily, thanks. Good
Great.
stuff.
Thank you.